tweeting his support for Gillespie and also taking more than a few hits at Northam. CNN's Ryan Nobles is in Richmond following this big day. So, Ryan, the polls close at 7. What's going on before then?
Well, Kate, it's a mad dash by both campaigns to get their voters to the polls, and turnout, meaning specifically which voters show up at the polls, could indicate who ends up being the winner in this race. Traditionally, these off-year elections for governor, Virginia elects its governor the year after a presidential contest, have notoriously low turnout, somewhere in the 30% range after a presidential election where Virginians generally show up to the polls in big numbers, and that's usually helpful to Republicans. They tend to do better in low turnout elections. So if not as many voters come out as they did last year, that's where Republicans see an opening. Of course, Donald Trump did not win Virginia in the presidential election last year, despite winning the election overall. And that's why Democrats are optimistic. They feel as though they have a candidate in Ralph Northam, that's someone that was born here in Virginia, that understands Virginia politics, but at the same time can be a check on the Trump administration. Meanwhile, Ed Gillespie, who, as you mentioned, might be the definition of establishment, has run a campaign where he hasn't necessarily run alongside President Trump, but he's championed many of the culture war type issues that the president seems to champion, things like keeping up Confederate monuments here in Virginia. He's also talked about immigration, specifically the rise of the MS-13 gang, and he's gone after Ralph Northam, the lieutenant governor, who cast a tie-breaking vote that would have prevented sanctuary cities from being set up in here in Virginia. Of course, there are no sanctuary cities right now. It was essentially a preemptive law that Northam voted against. So it has been a very divisive race. Both these candidates have hit each other pretty hard. A lot of Virginians are happy that Election Day is coming because they are sick of seeing these ads, which have been very nasty at times on both sides. And the polls show us, Kate, that this is going to be a very tight finish, and we may not have the outcome until very late into the night.
So stay close to CNN. That's my only advice. Great to see you. Thank you so much, Ryan. All right, joining me now, CNN political director David Chalian and CNN politics reporter and editor-at-large Chris Cillizza. So, David, the president weighing in on this race today. He hasn't campaigned there one day. Why is this race so important for him?
Yeah, his not campaigning there one day was probably not his choice. That was probably the choice of Ed Gillespie. Why is he paying attention? Because he understands that this day is going to be viewed through a lens about him. That is how people are going to sort of assess where is the political landscape a year after Donald Trump's election. And as Ryan was just saying, Kate, the gubernatorial race in Virginia and New Jersey, we sort of look at that 1 year after the presidential election, sort of see how those electorates are responding to the president, the new president. And Donald Trump is keenly aware of that. And he understands that if Democrats, even on a smaller election like today, sweep all the high profile contests and there isn't a big high profile Republican victory, that's a really bad headline for him and his party heading into 2018.
Well, I guess with that in mind, Chris, do you think that this means any more for the 2018 midterms than all the special elections that we've been watching so closely up to this point?
Yes and no. I mean, it's a bigger race with more money, with more attention, with messaging that's more similar, particularly on Gillespie's side, with what Trump ran on. So yes, in that regard. No, in the sense that it's a gubernatorial, it's a state, we're talking about state election in Virginia, a state election in New Jersey, not a federal election. History